Welcome into Inside the Tank. Alex Murnoni here with Nick DiDonato, Nate Ward, Juwan Calendar. It is so good to be back with you guys here for our second season of our brand new show here at Palm Beach Atlantic. Fellas, it's so good to be back with you guys.
Yeah, Alex, I'm going to tell you, that winter break felt like an eternity, especially in quarantine and all that.
Well, on the other hand, my winter break went by too fast, but I'm glad to be back.
Juwan, what about you? You glad to be back?
I'm just glad to be back on the set.
I'm glad to be back too. So we'll dive right into it. For Juwan and I, our college football teams didn't get close. Well, my team had a chance until we played Bama. But your guys' team, Ohio State, had a pretty good-looking chance against Ohio State till about the second quarter. Guys, you want to break that game down for us?
Well, to start off, to break down, I think one of the biggest thing to mention is on the third play, Trey Sermon broke his collarbone. But I think leaving that out, I think Ohio State was very outmatched from the get-go. Alabama was leagues ahead of them, and it showed evidently throughout the entire game, specifically throughout the first half.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't necessarily mad with the way Ohio State played. Like Nick said, they were just a better team. Alabama was just a better team all around. Devontae Smith is a class act. He's very, very, very good at what he does. They just played like one heck of a game. Justin Fields, I think he did what he could. With Trey Sermon going out, the offense really seemed stagnant. They didn't really have anything, left in the tank by the time it was like the second half started. So, it was a valiant effort getting there.
Juwan, you were just talking before we came on the air about Devontae Smith. You thought really highly of him.
Yeah, I feel like he's like a transcendent talent. He showed why he won the Heisman with the championship performance that he had. And just Bama just being the overall better team, like Nick and Nate just said, just a league of their own, whether it's like a football team, there's Alabama, and then there's college football, it's everybody else. So, and I feel like they showed that, but that's pretty much my thoughts.
Yeah, it just went to show how dominant Alabama was. They were light years ahead of everyone, like you guys said.
Right.
So next we've got a couple playoff games this weekend. We've got the AFC Championship, the Buffalo Bills finally back versus the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll talk about that game first because the unknown question of Pat Mahomes, he still hasn't been technically cleared to play. Juwan, we'll go with you first. Who do you like in this game, and what are some of the implications in case Mahomes doesn't play?
I feel like it's going to be a close game, whether Pat Mahomes play or not. And I feel like, not to downplay the injury, like being in concussion protocol, but I feel like he is going to play. And I feel like it's going to be a shootout type of game because the Chiefs' defense is good, but I feel like the Bills got enough firepower on offense to fire back at them even if they get down into a hole. So I believe it's going to be a shootout. I believe it's going to be an exciting game.
You think it's going to be a shootout even if Chad Henne's the quarterback?
Okay, I'll walk that back. I won't believe if Chad Henne's the quarterback. It's a totally different game. And I feel like Bills, it'll still be close, but I feel like the Bills will handle the Chiefs. But Pat Mahomes plays, I feel like it's going to be one of the best playoff games we've seen so far this season, in my opinion.
Nate, what about you?
Okay, in Patrick Mahomes' situation, usually in concussion protocol, it's like a week, maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with him. They're probably going to find some way to get him in play.
Have we ever seen a quarterback go into concussion protocol during an AFC championship?
I have not.
I don't think we've ever seen it in this scenario before.
No, so it's gonna be weird just seeing what goes on and what happens. But if he does get a chance to play, I personally think the Chiefs will end up pulling it out. The way that the Chiefs the Bills are playing great football now too. I don't want to take that away from them. And I think the Bills defense is good too, and the Chiefs defense is good too. But I think like Juwan said, it's gonna come out to a slug match. Really, I just think that whoever scores, has a better offense that night is just gonna win it.
Yeah. And Nick, what about you?
So the first scenario, of course, if Chad Henne plays, I believe that the Chiefs' defense is going to have to stand up, and they understand that. And I evidently think that it's not going to happen, and I believe that the Bills will win. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout because I think that the Chiefs will be tall enough on defense to at least make it a close game. But if Patrick Mahomes comes back, and that game is Patrick Mahomes against Josh Allen, that's going to be probably the best playoff game we've seen or will see in the entire playoffs so far.
Agreed.
And I'm going to call it a close game and a shootout, but I'm going to call it for the Chiefs.
All right, and I'm going to call it for the Bills straight up, whether Mahomes plays or not. You know, that was my pick from the start of the playoffs. I still think Josh Allen has been one of the NFL's best quarterbacks, especially in recent weeks, especially with Stephon Diggs. I just see Bills Mafia keep rolling into Tampa for the Super Bowl. And then next, Bucks Packers. We'll go to Jawan last since he has he's got his own battles with this game. So Nick, what about you? Who do you think, Bucks or Packers right now? The Bucks are red hot.
I love this game in multiple aspects because for the most part, both offenses are great. And one, for Tampa is because they have one of the greatest quarterbacks, and two, for Green Bay is because they have one of the other greatest quarterbacks. And the offense is going to be there. And the question is, who's going to step up on defense? Is it going to be the Green Bay Packers? We were just talking about Jair Alexander off the air. Is he going to step up and hit probably Mike Evans? He's going to be matched up on Mike Evans. Is he going to lock down Mike Evans? Or is Tampa Bay's defense going to stand up? It's all questions like that. And ultimately, I think that Green Bay's defense is going to step up, and I think Green Bay is going to win it.
Nate?
Actually, I'm a Brady guy. But in this case of this game, if you guys watched last game when the Bucks played the Saints, it was a great quarterback against another great quarterback. They both started relatively slow. And in that case, the defense really won. I would say the defense really won the Bucks the game in that case. But when it comes to the Packers, and especially with the ball Aaron Rodgers is playing right now, I feel like the Bucks on both ends of the ball are going to really have to step up. I feel like Brady's going to have a big game. He's known for big games, especially on these big type of stages. But I just really want to see how the defense responds to the way Aaron Rodgers has been playing. And I want to see if Tom Brady will step up to that challenge.
And then for me, I'll say Packers, but I think it's going to be closer. Even though the last time these two teams played, Tampa Bay just absolutely blasted them. What was that, week 6 they played each other?
Yep.
I think it's a brand new team for the Packers from then, because that was back in October, and now we're in January. So I do think with it being in Lambeau and with them having some fans there, I think Green Bay has the advantage. But Tom Brady knows when to show up. When the lights are on, he shows up. So I'll say Green Bay wins it. I'll say they win it in overtime, 34-31.
I would love to see overtime.
And that'd be fun. Now, Jawan, you are a diehard Packers fan, so give us your input on this without being biased.
Okay, without being biased, I'll try my hardest. But honestly, I want the Packers to win. That's me being biased. I believe the Packers will win, just on a take. But I know that the Packers defense has to step up, and Mike Pettin has to call the best defensive game he has called against Tom Brady. Last game, they ran a lot of zone against the Rams, and it was kind of picking it apart with their hurry-up offense. Tom Brady is going to pick that apart all day. If you're running zone all day, Tom Brady, he got too many weapons. Rob Gronkowski up against the middle, up against a weak Packers linebacker core when it comes to covering tight ends. Tom Brady could pick that apart. So the defense has to step up in a big way, force a couple of turnovers. Offensively, not worried about the Packers, doing their thing. But the defense of the Bucks, which they showed in Week 6, they're close to elite defense that we've seen in this playoffs. They got a lot of weapons on defense, whether it's Ndamukong Suh stepping up. He always steps up when he goes against Aaron Rodgers. They have like a personal beef, but Devin White is the key. Devin White is the key, covering, stopping everything up the middle against the running back. So if the Packers are able to get the run game going with the 3 running backs, what they were showing last week against the Rams, A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones, and Williams, they'll be fine. I feel like they will not roll, but it'll be a close game, but it's going to be an amazing game against 2 first ballot Hall of Fame quarterbacks. But I got the Packers winning a close one at Lambeau Field.
Well, this certainly is going to be a very exciting AFC and NFC championship weekend. And coming up next, we will break down the big news going on in the NBA, the James Harden trade, finally out of Houston. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Inside the Tank. Big news out of the NBA this past week, guys. James Harden finally out of Houston. He is officially a Brooklyn Net. He's already played 2 games with them. We've got the trade right here. Houston is going to take Victor Oladipo, Rondis Kirkus, Dante Exum, 3 first-round picks, a Milwaukee first-round pick, and a couple pick swaps. Brooklyn gets, of course, James Harden and a Cavs second-round pick. The Pacers get Karis LeVert and a Houston second-round pick, and the Cavs get Jared Allen and Taurean Prince. Are you guys surprised, first of all, with the trade that it finally went through after all of this trade buzz with James Harden ever since leaving the bubble?
I'm not surprised at all. It's just the way you could tell he wanted out since like the summer and just beginning of training camp, so not really surprised.
Or are you surprised that there were more teams included?
Oh, yeah,
people
definitely.
getting shopped and all that.
Oh yeah, definitely. That amount of teams in the trade definitely shocked on that part, so I will admit that.
Nick, what about you?
Well, I was very surprised that the Cavs were involved in it.
That's your
I didn't even
team,
expect the Cavs to trade anybody. I mean, I think they gave up Dante Exum in their second-round pick to get 2, which was not terrible
fine.
at all. But I did not see Oladipo leaving. That was totally out of the blue. But I definitely believed that James Harden was going to leave eventually. And I didn't see it in this sense with such a large trade package with 4 different teams. But I think it was only just a matter of time before a trade happened. So
Yeah. Nate?
Yeah, this surprised me, and it really actually surprised me that he went to the Nets.
You thought he was going to go to Philly?
Yeah, I did not see them going to the Nets. When I seen all these teams pitching in, I think the Nets offered way too much in the sense of, James Harden is like a generational player, but I feel like if they don't end up winning the championship, then what was that for?
It's a bust. Just like the big 3 with the first year at Miami. It was a championship or bust.
Yeah.
Now, I'm surprised, too, because Philly apparently had Ben Simmons and I believe Matthias Thybulle informed that they were going to be traded already. They were informed, like, hey, we're about to submit this trade through. So whatever happened between the Nets and, not the Nets, Philly and Houston, something must have happened where they couldn't agree to maybe another draft pick or 2.
I heard that there was a report that the Rockets owner told the GM that by all means, don't trade him anywhere except for Philly because Daryl Morey was there. Don't know how accurate that is, but
it could be accurate.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a certain type of beef there because Morey just left, but
yeah,
I find that pretty interesting.
All right, so we'll give a quick prediction. Where do you think the Nets go from here? The finals, or do they trade Kyrie or something?
I mean, there's really no place to go except for up, right? I mean, from last season.
I guess.
So, I mean, expectations are really high now.
Yeah.
But I think they're definitely going to go, far in the playoffs in the East. So that's my prediction. I'd probably say conference finals.
All right, Nate, what about you? Conference finals?
Yeah, I see them coming out the East.
Okay.
But I don't know, especially in their first year. I don't know if they can get over, LeBron James and AD hump. But I do see them, coming out the East for sure.
Juwan?
I see them coming out the East, and honestly, I feel like they could beat anybody who they see. If they go against the Lakers, I think they could beat them. There's too much firepower on offense. Even though defensively, they could be hurting a little bit with the loss of Jared Allen. They still got DJ there, DeAndre Jordan. But I feel like they can win the finals this year if they could figure it out.
I see them come out of the East as well, but I just don't see them winning a championship, especially if the problems with Kyrie Irving still keep looming around.
True.
They looked better without him.
Yeah,
they showed
did.
against the Cavs the other night. All right, so we'll take another quick break. Coming up next, we've got some problems going on in Tennessee with recruiting. We're going to go over our mock drafts, and today we remember the great Hank Aaron. Welcome back into Inside the Tank. So, this was kind of funny. I know it's serious, of course, but it's funny. Tennessee football the other day, allegedly with Jeremy Pruitt, their head coach, out at Tennessee. But there's a reason behind that, of course. It is with recruiting violations, supposedly stuffing cash into McDonald's bags on recruiting trips for their recruits. We've all talked about it all this week. Nate, I want to hear your input. You being a student athlete, of course, this has nothing to do. This is just opinion.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, I give them points for uniqueness. I've never heard anything like this. But in the case of recruiting, I don't know. The money, trying to kind of entice or persuade them. Like, I feel like that should just come from this love. I want to go to your school. Like, I want to play for you as a coach. But I mean, the money thing. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a million other ways he could have went about trying to get a recruit.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
That is very creative. Nick, what about you?
I mean, in the sense of, I agree with Nate in the sense that you could do it so many other ways, but I feel like there are so many schools that actually do it this way. And it's not ununique to see it like this. And so Tennessee is getting a lot of hate right now for it, but I think if so many other schools are to be investigated, they would find a lot of things.
Yeah,
and
but just not with
not in McDonald's bags, I would suppose. But I mean, it is a recruit in the long run. It's a recruiting violation. So they got popped for it, and that's the short story.
Actually, Juwan, you go ahead, and then we'll talk about it after.
Oh, just to piggyback off what Nick said, I feel like a lot of colleges already do this, and Tennessee just happened to get caught red-handed, so they had to be punished for it with the coach and the AD being gone. But uniqueness, 1 out of 10, you got to give it a 10 with the McDonald's bag. It's pretty much foolproof.
Who do you think, who would have snitched on this? Because from an athlete standpoint, I'm sure they would have taken the money.
Exactly. I feel like it was a greedy fan.
For a student athlete where they've got to, fix, student loans and stuff and buy books, and they just need extra cash. I mean, would they? Do you think it was a student who snitched, or do you think it was a parent?
I think it has to be a parent.
Parent, definitely.
Do you think it was a parent?
I believe it was parent or anybody who would benefit from
disgruntled parent, perhaps.
Yeah. Probably.
All right, so Tennessee, we'll just leave it up to them, see whatever they do. It's going to be pure chaos there for the next couple weeks. But coming up, even though we have the playoffs still going on, we did our own little mock draft. We did our top 5, and I think I was the first to have our mock draft graphic show up. So for me, I had Trevor Lawrence go first to Jacksonville, just because he is the unanimous number 1 pick in my opinion. And then I have Justin Fields going number 2, but I'll come back to that pick in a second. I have Devontae Smith going number 3, because I think having him there with Tua Tagovailoa, having an Alabama product, throw to another Alabama product can help. And then Jamar Chase going to the Falcons at number 4. If Matt Ryan does in fact stay, you could have a 3-headed monster with Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and then Jamar Chase, and then Russell Gage, whatever. And at number 5, Joe Burrow needs to help at line. So if I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Penei Sewell from Oregon, who was at one point thought of as the number 1 prospect up until last year. But I'll go back to this Justin Fields pick. I do believe that this pick will be traded, and this will go to the Houston Texans. But that's another segment we have coming up, so we'll break that down more. I think, Jawan, you're up next. Did you have Zach Wilson going number 4?
Yeah, I had Zach.
That is you then.
Yeah, I had Zach Wilson going number 4 only because Atlanta is kind of tricky to figure out the direction that they're going to right now. They got a new quarterback with Arthur Smith, so I don't know if he's going to have an input on the personnel with the GM, if he's going to have any say-so. We don't know if they're going to move on from Matt Ryan or Julio Jones. So I feel like if they're not going Zach Wilson, they're going to go wide receiver, like you guys said.
Well, so your number 1 pick was Justin Fields.
And the reason,
is that a typo? Or
no,
break it down for
it was
me.
Justin Fields. I feel like his performance throughout the college football playoffs, it's been good. But I feel like the Urban Meyer factor, I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, he helped recruit Justin Fields, right? So I feel like him being in Jacksonville, if they keep and hold on to that pick, and maybe not finesse the New York Giants and New York Jets to moving up to get Trevor Lawrence. But I feel like he's his guy, and people are going to pick their guy in Justin Fields. I feel like is gonna be the guy for Urban Meyer right there.
And then we'll go to Nate, because you also had Justin Fields going number 1. Break that down for us. Why do you? I'm sure you're going to piggyback off of Juwan, but why do you think he's number 1? Because by the way, we all have very similar draft picks.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Devontae Smith's going to Miami, and Penei Sewell's going to Cincinnati. But break it down for us for Justin Fields.
So besides his stellar play throughout college football, I mean, obviously the Urban Meyer. With Urban Meyer being changed the head coach, obviously he has some influence, some say so inside what's going on with the team. So I mean, I could see it happening. I would like to see it happen, to be an Ohio State fan. But even so, with the Texans looking to trade to Deshaun Watson, I can see Trevor Lawrence honestly going first too, and I can see that pick switching. So I see where both of you guys are coming from in that sense. But my favorite kind of pick is Jamar Chase going first. After watching him play last year and then this year, he just is a dynamic receiver, and I feel like they're gonna get rid of Julio Jones. I feel like
Or he's gonna be traded?
Yeah, traded. I feel like he's gonna get out of there somehow.
So it's time to build around.
Yeah, so I
Jamar
feel like they
Chase.
want another dynamic receiver.
Or maybe if this all works out, he can go to Cincinnati and go back with Joe Burrow.
I would love that too, being a
That'd
Ohio
be
guy.
fun.
I would love that. But yeah.
But Nick, you want to break yours down? You had the similar as me, Trevor Lawrence going number one.
So I have Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, but I actually do agree with you guys. I wrote this out. This is my mock draft since a very long time ago. And this is before Urban Meyer was the coach of Jacksonville, but it is very possible for Jacksonville to pick Justin Fields. Number one, because of his play in the playoffs. Number two, because he's got chemistry with the head coach. Number three, Devontae Smith. I agree with you. I actually think Jamar Chase is better. His stats through his junior year are actually better than Devontae Smith's. And it's true. Check the stats.
Yeah.
And I actually agree with Jawan with the Falcons pick. I have Zach Wilson. And I just think first off, I think that Matt Ryan's getting old.
Yeah.
I think they need to move on from him. I think they have a pretty solid wide receiver core with.
Because who's their backup for quarterback?
I don't even know.
Oh my God, no clue. No
Do
clue.
they have a backup quarterback? I assume they do.
Yeah.
But their receiver core is nice. It's
Young.
Julio Jones, Young, Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage. But I think that it'd be solid to pick up a quarterback.
Yeah.
But develop him. Even if Matt Ryan stays, he could develop.
Yeah.
And then number 5, I got Joe Burrow's protection, Penny Sewell.
Poor Joe Burrow.
They got to make that pick, right?
I think that's a solid
He
pick.
needs help on that line.
Yeah, I think that's almost locked in.
I think that one's got to be locked in.
Yeah.
All right, so going off of my thoughts on the New York Jets, you three don't think it's going to happen. So I
Absolutely
just want to
not.
hear why. But I've got it on high speculation that Deshaun Watson will be a New York Jet by the NFL draft. And here is why. We've got the 2nd overall pick. We've got Sam Darnold we can trade. We have the most cap space, so we're ready to sign anyone else that Deshaun Watson wants. We have another first-round pick for next year and Seattle's first-round pick for next year and this year. We've got a couple of second-rounders. I think the Jets are the most stable team, like draft pick-wise, to offer Deshaun Watson because he wants out and he's already been seen in New Jersey a couple times. And I'm just speculating. Nick, you have been my biggest hater on this.
Here's the thing. I'm trying to be as real as possible because it is very realistic that he
Thank
goes
you.
to the Jets.
Thank you.
But he doesn't get to pick. That's the thing. Houston is going to have to choose. And whoever gives them the best package and the most complete package, they're going to take.
But if he can't choose, he's gonna sit out. He's gonna pull Le'Veon if he has to stick it out with the Texans, I bet.
But
And he's gonna open up his trade clause, his no
That-
trade clause.
Okay. It's pretty decent that he has a trade clause.
Sounds like we're getting Deshaun Watson.
If he's going to sit out, then the Texans are going to. They don't have a first
I
round.
doubt he's gonna sit out, but
I don't think
he's not the
gonna
one to sit out. But
he just wants to get out of Texas.
Yeah.
Can't blame him, though.
what about you, Jawan? What do you think my Jets here do?
I mean, you guys do have a lot of draft picks, but honestly, with Houston, and no diss to your Jets,
Come
I
on.
would be so mad if I was Deshaun Watson to get traded from the Texans to the Jets.
What?
It's almost as close as a bad situation.
Why? Why?
I mean, who
We've
on your
got brand
team?
new coaches.
Right?
We've got draft picks.
Absolutely.
We've got the most cap space. Allen Robinson, also just speculating.
That's possible.
could
Speculation.
go. Aaron Jones could be winding up here.
Okay.
We could have a solid 7-9 team.
Your
right here.
best wide receiver was a rookie last year, right?
Jamison Crowder is not a rookie.
Okay, well, listen, I would rather be on a team that didn't have
Am I bragging
Jamison
about
Crowder
Jamison Crowder?
as their number one, and Denzel Mims, who's very promising, but I wouldn't want to land with the Jets. So if I was him, I would sit out if I got traded to the Jets too. I would love to see him in Miami though.
I like the Jets too. Like, I'm not saying it's not like it's realistic,
Right,
definitely,
yeah.
but I feel like Miami. I think it may be like a better,
Way better.
yeah, like a situation for him.
I've suffered enough, so we need.
They
need
too
this.
have a lot of picks and cap space.
Yeah, they have
But
like.
if Devontae Smith goes to the Dolphins and they trade
Oh god.
the Texans pick back to the Texans,
But don't they want to build around Tua?
I think.
I mean, I would.
I would rather
I had
take.
traded him by now.
I would
but-
rather take Watson than Tua,
Right?
I mean, yeah.
You want
a
10
developed,
10
Yeah.
games.
established quarterback.
They won 10
Well-
games last year. They got cap space. And then you keep that third pick. You have Devontae Parker. You have Gesicki, who showed that he could play. And then you go get Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase. You know what I mean? In that lineup, I feel like they're better suited to compete than the New York
Yeah,
Jets.
I hear you. That's a really good. That's a really good sales pitch. I'm still convinced Deshaun Watson's going to the Jets.
It's possible.
All right, so this is right before we came on the air. Today we learned of the passing of Atlanta Braves great Hank Aaron, who passed away at the age of 86. The home run king, if we don't consider Barry Bonds, 755 home runs, over 3,000 hits, one of the greatest hitters of all time, one of the greatest baseball players of all time. This came like shocking. I just wasn't expecting. I mean, I know he was up there in age, but it just kind of came out of nowhere with everything happening right now in the world. Nick, what about you're a big baseball fan?
Yeah. I mean, he holds just some of the stats. He holds the most RBIs, most extra base hits, third most hits. And I mean, that's just some of his baseball stats, but he's so much more than baseball. I mean, he's one of the most like influential people to ever play baseball off the baseball field.
Did a lot with the Atlanta area
Right.
once the Braves
And
settled
he's
there.
sort of closely compared to a Jackie Robinson. And he will longly be touted as probably, we and you were talking about
just
this,
talking
the
about it.
greatest Brave to ever be.
I don't
in
think there's
Atlanta.
anyone that can get near him. There's people in that realm, but nowhere near him at all.
Yeah, and he played in that era around the time where it was still being generalized as racist and
Yeah.
all that, and he did so much for people that are now in the league that it's just so many people look up to him.
Yeah. And Nate, what about you?
Just condolences to his family and his friends, and I mean, like Nick said, he's just more than a baseball player. He did so much more, like so much for the African American baseball players in the league now, back then, and just in general, like even not with baseball, even with basketball and soccer and everything. He's just a heck of a guy, a generational player, and nothing but love and wishes to his family.
Juwan?
Just saying here what Nate and Nick said, just a transcendent player who transcended sports and means so much outside of the sport of baseball. Not only one of the best baseball players to ever play, but just a huge giant in just the black community and just iconic sports person overall. Because even if you don't watch baseball, I watch baseball, but not like that.
But most people know who Hank Aaron is.
Exactly. It's like saying Babe Ruth. Like, you know that's somebody. Like, you know that's baseball. So Hank Aaron, I feel like, is tied to that sport and just tied to just making this world like a better place. So
Yeah.
condolences.
Very nice tribute. Hank Aaron, 86 years old, coming up next before we go. Welcome back to Inside the Tank. Guys, you know what tomorrow is?
Pi Day.
It is P-I-E Day, not the math term pi.
3.14.
Because that's 3.14.
That's on March. Yeah, that's a good observation there, Nick.
March 14th.
So, our producer, director, and professor, Dr. Piper, got us pies. Right here, everyone show the cameras your pies. But he took off the tags of the names, so none of us know what pies we're getting. So we're gonna take off our mask real quick. This is safe because we're eating. And we gotta guess what pies we got.
Okay. Definitely.
But don't smell it.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, don't smell it, man.
Yeah, I should go with the spoon. That was
I don't-
smart.
Okay.
You ready? We're
Yeah,
doing this?
wait, everyone, we'll take a bite together.
Oh boy.
One.
Oh!
The
Wait.
crust is so hard.
Yeah. Okay.
What is this?
1,
Hold on.
3.
Is mine peach cobbler?
I got apple.
I think I did get cherry.
I got
Strawberry?
apple.
Or is it pineapple? It's peach. I got peach
Pineapple. That is. What is that?
cobbler. It's a peach.
What'd you get?
I don't even know.
I think
Let me
cherry.
bring your pie over here. I'll
It's
eat it on the
like-
opposite side. Here, I'm gonna come
I
over.
got cherry.
Is
I
that
got apple.
grapefruit pie.
I got apple.
Ew. I got peach.
It's like guava pie.
I got cherry.
It's like passion fruit or something.
I know for sure.
I'm gonna move that. Let me.
I got cherry.
Nick got the weird one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got cherry.
How-
Passion fruit?
Ooh.
Well, let me try.
Yeah, try this.
I don't.
What?
I'm like,
you got
okay, this
passion
looks
fruit?
like cherry
I don't
pie.
know.
Yeah, no, this is kind of red though. I may be too big of a
Straight on
bite.
that. I don't even like pie like that.
Oh my
I
lord.
tasted it. It had some kick, like it was spicy. I'm like, what in the world?
That's awful. Yeah.
What is it?
Well, that is our episode today of Inside the Tank.
I
Happy
don't
Pie
know.
Day. We'll see you guys next week for perhaps a coach interview or something. But till next time, Jawan, Alex, Nate, and Nick. Have a good week, everyone.